So when people are signing up for MedGym, we know what works. So what do you do in MedGym?
What works?
Yeah, what works?
Diet and exercise.
Always, right? Diet and exercise. That's how you lose weight. And
Yes.
what do people like to do out of those things?
I mean, neither, but if you had to pick one, it'd always be exercise. Because everybody tries to out-exercise what they eat. Like the concept, like I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want, and then I'm going to exercise to balance it out or negate what I eat.
I thought about it for so long, and in the beginning, like a long time ago, I thought that maybe I'm just lazy when I was trying to lose weight after the kids. But then whenever I would reach for food, it was so much more than just food, right? It was my culture, my identity, what my kids like. And then it was covering up the pain. I don't know. It's like food is so much more and so freaking addictive. And when you tell someone, stop eating things and just start eating salads, it sounds great in theory, you're not going to do it. Because it's more painful to stop what you're doing than the pain you are living in because of the foods you eat. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, from a philosophical standpoint, that pain has to be, that's something else has to be inherently less painful than the pain you're going through, right? So if exercise is a pain, if giving up food is a pain, that pain has to be far less than the pain you're experiencing being overweight for you to make a change, right? Because why would you trade a bigger pain to get rid of the current pain that you have of being overweight?
Right. Yes, if you say to someone, okay, come to Balance Flow to MedGym and do a 20-minute workout. Like, yeah, I don't feel like it. I could do other things because it's 20 minutes. But when you tell me you have to change everything that you've known about nutrition in your life, like that is huge. So it's not that people who eat a certain way are necessarily lazy or there's something wrong with them. It's just not able.
There's so many factors and variables. And I noticed this, I was with one of our patients, and I came to the realization that food for him was not about feeling full or getting enough to eat. It was completely a psychological dependence. Like it did something else for him. It meant socializing with friends. It meant like it was one of his only pleasures in life. Like there's not a lot of other pleasures in his life, right? And food, tasting it, eating it, the experiencing of that food was a pleasure in life. So you're asking him to trade that pleasure away, right? Which is a pain. That is a pain, trading pleasure away. Mm-hmm. So if that trading away that pleasure or losing that pleasure is bigger than the pain of being overweight, you're never gonna win that that war, you know? Like, why would I give myself a bigger pain of taking away this food to try to take away this pain of being overweight, right?
That's why people always try, but apps like, I can't even think of all the names. There's so many apps that talk about coaching you on nutrition, and they only work for a short period of time. Mm-hmm. Because it makes sense. If you don't eat as many calories, you are going to lose weight. But I think you and I were talking about this the other day. When you don't change something permanently, you are pretty much guaranteed you're going to gain all the weight back, no matter what kind of program you were put on, and no matter how much weight you lost.
Yeah. It's like these GLP-1 drugs, they're fantastic.
Yes.
Right? They're fantastic because it will take away like the physiological aspect of food. Like I'm not hungry, I don't want any food. But I've still seen people on GLP-1s still eat, right? Because like we were just talking about, it's not about being hungry for them. There's something else that food means to them, right? But the GLP-1 drugs are also good because they will feel physical pain if they keep eating. Like they will not feel good. They will throw up. They'll feel nauseous. They'll feel, if they eat too much. And it's interesting too because it tends to be like the fat foods and the sugary foods that make people feel bad if they eat them while they're taking the GLP-1 drugs. So it's been a real kind of like a miracle development that these drugs can. Now, speaking of pain, right? You're making the pain of eating greater than the pain of not eating. right? So it's much better not to eat too much, right? And then in turn it helps you lose weight. So
that's how people are suffering from alcoholism. They are put on those drugs and they no longer have cravings, and also the reward center starts working differently. They do try to train, it's just not as rewarding.
Yeah.
But this also has to be coupled with lifestyle changes, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, so we know GLP-1s are awesome. Not everyone will want to use them or be able to afford to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you tell your friends and your patients and your clients? What changes can they make short of don't eat anymore and only eat salads?
You know what my general advice when someone asks me for, like, people have so many different opinions, so many different like methods and theories and like proprietary methods. Like, it's like, okay, fine, but my general advice is eat less. You know, and not even thinking about macros, not even thinking about what you eat necessarily. I mean, just eat less, because we scan people all day and look at their basal metabolic rates, and people are like generally between what, like 1500 to 18 and 1900 in their basal metabolic rates. So they're burning 1500 to 1900 calories at rest, right? The typical desk jockey, desk worker is adding another 250, 300 calories to their day if they're not doing anything else, if they're not exercising. If someone's really active and exercising, they're adding maybe like 500 to 1,000 calories a day. So regular people burn anywhere from like let's say 1,700 to like 3,000 calories.
Unless you're chapeau meal.
Right, yeah, of course. There's outliers, but okay, like that's how many people burn in regular, like if you look at the general population, most of them are desk jockeys, so you're probably burning 1,700 to 2,000 calories a day. And all those little labels in food are based on 2,000 calorie diets. Okay, so just eat less, because we eat way more than 2,000 calories a day. We eat way more, and the only thing you can do with those extra calories is
fat.
Store them as fat. Because fat is just stored energy. That's all it is, right? 3,500 calories per pound of stored energy, right? So just eat less. Like the concept of eating till you're full is like, that's a Depression era thing or something like that, right? Like you don't need to eat till you're full. You shouldn't eat till you're full. Just eat less, right? It's actually bad to eat till you're full.
So I was thinking about this a lot too, because I don't like when I tell someone who's never done integrated nutrition, start counting calories, look at your macros, because then it becomes work and it's not pleasant anymore and it's a task and you have to learn a whole new language, and that can also become an addictive thing, right?
Yeah.
When you start counting too much stuff all of a sudden.
Obsessive.
So what you said was really cool. Depending on who you are, right? So it's not giving advice, but if you have a burger for lunch, just have half.
Mm-hmm.
Eat first, drink a cup of water.
Yeah.
Drink a cup of water and then wait, and then have half of your burger and like really enjoy it. Your buddy, your good friend, Rick Davis. Remember what he said to you and me? That he loves food so much and he respects food so much that he will only eat food that tastes amazing. And he has a ritual around his food. He told me that in his restaurants, his workers, they have actual lunch breaks and food breaks where they sit down and they enjoy what they're consuming. So don't eat fast. Eat your half a burger and really flavor it and enjoy it.
And that's all you need, right? Because if you think about like a 2,000 calorie diet, like if you eat a burger and fries or something, where are you? Like 800?
More. Sometimes you're about 1,300.
Depending on where you go. Think like that's why I tell people just eat less, because they have no idea. If your basal metabolic rate, you burn 2,000 calories a day, and you just ate a burger and fries, and you spent like 1,200 calories already, there's no other end than to get fat. You know what I mean?
No.
That's why you just have to eat less.
But what I love is what you're saying is not don't eat a burger and fries.
Right.
Just eat less of a burger and less
right?
of a fry.
Yeah.
So it's not about deprivation, but just freaking control yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
I know that some people also say maybe add something to your diet. If you
I
know,
totally agree.
yeah, like Standard American Diet, SAD
Yeah.
diet, there's a name for it, right? Instead of saying, I'm not going to have fries today, I'm not going to have a burger, say, I am going to have a salad.
Yeah.
And then add a salad and your glass of water, and you're going to be satiated much quicker. I know it's not all about satiation, but still, your brain will say,
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I think for me, like nutrition, when I try to simplify it, is number one, eat less. Number two, now it's like, what are you eating, right? I'm not saying that doesn't count, but I'm saying if you know nothing else, just eat less. And then like number two would be, okay, let's start looking at what you're eating, because certain things you eat does, like, some things will turn into fat more easily.
So
more
let's
quickly,
talk. So let's talk about that. So when you're past that first point, you've taught yourself how to enjoy your food more, eat a little bit less, and hopefully found a different coping mechanism. I think cognitive behavioral therapy is awesome for people who are truly addicted to food. But let's say you're already doing all of this, and now you're ready to learn more. So we have 3 food groups, right? Carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Macros. What was your approach with that?
And you look at all these different diets, like paleo, keto, and like all these like low carb diets, like there's a lot of truth and science behind it, right? And why? Because the faster that the food goes into your bloodstream and turns into energy into your bloodstream, the more your bloodstream gets overloaded with energy, and all that it can do with that energy is store it as fat, So you want to eat slowly digested foods. And that's exactly another reason why those GLP-1 drugs work, because it slows down everything, and then the energy goes into your blood more slowly. So whatever you're burning, right, you can burn it all, and not as much of it gets stored as fat. Okay, so when we talk about macros, do I say carbs are bad? No, but certain carbs that turn into energy into your body quickly and dumps into your bloodstream quickly, those are the ones that are gonna make you gain the most fat. And like I said, I didn't say gain weight, gain fat, right? If you're an athlete and you have a lot of muscle and your basal metabolic rate is higher, and you're burning like 3,000 calories a day, you could probably eat more of those simple carbs and fast energy foods, because like you burn a ton, right? And athletes often need to do this, right? But if you're the regular Joe Schmo, you sit at a desk all day and exercise a little bit here and there, you definitely need to stay way away from those things. And the easiest way is the white powder stuff.
I call them the beige foods.
The beige foods, right? So the white powder is the white stuff. It is like the flour, the sugar,
the glazed donuts,
the milk, right?
Yeah.
All that stuff is the white foods. Those are the ones that are quickly dump sugar, glucose, energy into your body.
I always tell people that there's no such thing as bad food. I want to, I have kids now too, and I don't want my kids to think donuts are bad, because there's parts of the world and then certain populations that can handle donuts, or people who love to have a donut, and they, because to fulfill their basic caloric need, but they can't. So I always say, think about a better option. Is there a better option available right now? So obviously, the holy grail would be whole foods. If it comes from earth, if it's in its full form, it's a potato, you can boil it, but it's great. That's what you should be eating. But it's not always available. So you have pizza with some vegetables on it. Great, but is there a better choice? Well, maybe you have vegetables and cheese and piece of bread at home. That's probably a better choice. And we can keep going up the chain without being too obsessive, but think about how to simplify this carbohydrates that you have in front of you and make the ingredients as whole as possible.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the Harvard plate, right? Well, what do you put on your Harvard plate?
Every day. I bought for my kiddos, and now I use it too. It's a plate with 3 dividers. There's a half of the plate should be filled up with vegetables and fruit, which by the way are carbohydrates. but they are very complex carbohydrates that are utilized in your body much slower, and they're delightful. They have nutrients, vitamins, minerals. A quarter should be filled with protein. It can be chicken, egg. Just make it again as healthy, as organic as you can. But if you can't, don't. Just meat.
Yeah.
Soy, you don't need meat. And then a quarter go at it with some simple carbs if you want to, or just carbohydrates.
Oh, so you put simple carbs in the carbohydrate corner? You're okay with that?
I don't care about that.
Okay.
I will sometimes put rice, sometimes I'll put quinoa, right, for something a little bit better. But if I want a croissant, I'm going to cut it in half, and if it fits, it's going to sit there.
Jam it in! Fit!
Yeah. You have a problem with that?
No. I mean, I'm the same way. I just thought you might be a little more stringent, but
I'm all about balance.
No, I mean,
but you have to enjoy life. But I think that croissants were meant to be enjoyed.
Croissants are excellent.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so flaky and buttery.
Yeah, chocolate sometimes, but it's about what you said. You can still have it, but you have less, and you have this beautiful meal around it. Which, by the way, I don't know. You didn't have to. Have you ever worn the glucose monitor?
I've been wanting to do it actually, just to see for my body what happens when I eat certain foods.
Brilliant. So what I learned, speaking of croissants, I did a little experiment, and one morning I had, no, it's not good, but Crystal and a latte, and my sugar just within 2 hours spiked like crazy, and yeah, I didn't feel very good. But I do like my occasional croissant, so a few days later, I did this, and I also had an egg.
Yeah.
And I still ate the same croissant and an egg, so I added some calories to it, but it didn't happen. I stayed in the range. So what I've learned is, just do that.
Yeah, did you eat the egg first, or did you eat it at the same time? Or
First.
You ate it first. So there's actually great clinical studies on that. So my joke is, it's kind of a joke, but not really a joke, is like fried rice is the healthiest rice.
Oh, yes.
Which is kind of like completely counterintuitive. But the thing is, okay, first of all, fried rice, if people don't know, is usually made with overnight cooked rice. And when you leave rice in the refrigerator, it actually condenses some of the starches to make them harder to digest, so it doesn't go into your bloodstream as fast. And then secondly, fried rice is also cooked with oil, which is a fat. And if you mix any fat and protein with the carbs you're eating, it actually slows down the digestion as well, and slows down that blood sugar into or that energy release into your blood. So fried rice is also usually made with egg, which is a protein, and some kind of other protein like a meat, and then the oil, and then the condensing with the overnight refrigeration. So it is a lot, from a glycemic spike or sugar spike in your body perspective, it is much healthier than white rice.
You should call my husband and tell him that, because this is his favorite thing to order in Chinese restaurants.
I like most of the fried rice.
He's like, vegetable fried rice, Mom, it's full of veggies. You know, a little different spin, but he's not wrong. He's winning.
I mean, intuitively, you would think like fried rice, that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Eat the white rice. So like, actually, eat the fried rice.
I know nothing about this, and if you don't either, we can table it for some other time. But I had dinner with some friends last night, and they said they they air fry everything. Do you have an air fryer?
I did, but we didn't use it enough, so we gave it away.
Do you know anything about how the process is done, what happens? Is it actually healthy? I know it for sure is going to eliminate some vitamins.
This is what I know, right? It reduces the amount of oil you use. Because if you deep fry something, the concern is the oils into the food, right? And the other thing is the high temperature of deep frying can create oxidation and toxic compounds in those oils, and then you consume those, right? It's kind of sketchy as far as like how clear the research is, but as far as I know. But if you air fry something, you use less oils, I don't think the temperature gets quite as high, right, to create all those like free radicals. So those are probably the two things that people are.
Okay, so it goes back to what I said earlier. What is a better choice? If you are to make a deep fried chicken versus air fried chicken, that's a better option. So that's for some people.
Yeah. It's not equivalent. It doesn't taste the same. I was like, sometimes I'm just like, just go for the deep fried stuff. Don't eat as much of it throughout the day.
That's why I never bought one.
Yeah.
I'm not buying.
You might as well enjoy it.
Dude, I feel the same about everything.
Yeah.
I don't like to drink any sodas. It's like not my thing. But if I have to, I wouldn't buy the diet.
Yeah, like just
have
have the full thing,
have a glass or whatever once in a while. I don't think you should. It's death. It's liquid death for real. Like it's horrible. There's so much research on this, but hypothetically speaking, just have and move on with your life, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with, I know it's controversial, but low-fat milk. Yeah, don't have it at all, or just have the whole thing, just less.
Yeah, it's just different philosophies. I definitely agree though. Like I rather experience the full enjoyment of the thing than like water it down and have more of it.
It's just not fun.
Right?
Ever.
It's
like, what are you doing? You're just killing yourself for no reason. So might as well have a little bit extra. Once in a while.
If you're gonna enjoy it, go all in and enjoy it,
But I think we're supposed to talk about how to be healthier and not how to enable unhealthy habits.
I think it goes back to balance.
Balance and flow.
Yes.
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 Good job.
Balance flow.